Have you ever had the feeling that your wife is there with you, but seems distant? She talks less, looks at you differently, and that sparkle in her eyes that was there before simply disappeared? That's exactly what happened to Marcos. After he turned 60, he looked at the woman sleeping next to him and felt an emptiness. She didn't hate him, but she didn't love him the same way either. The silence inside the house was so strong that it hurt more than any argument. And do you know what's worse? He almost lost everything, because love, my friend, doesn't end all at once. It dies slowly while you pretend everything is fine. How many marriages are like this now? Two bodies in the same bed, but two hearts living apart. It hurts. It's tiring. And the worst part, it destroys the man inside without anyone noticing. But don't worry, there's a way out. And Marcos discovered it when it was almost too late. Today, I'm going to show you what he did to rekindle the passion, win back his wife's affection, and recover the joy that seemed lost. If you're living in a lukewarm, silent marriage, and you think there's no way out, stay with me until the end of this video, because what you're about to hear here could change everything. Before continuing, subscribe to the channel. Here we talk about the truth that many men go through, but are embarrassed to admit. If you want to learn how to take better care of your marriage, your mind, your heart, and you don't want to face all of this alone, then this channel is for you. Press the subscribe button and come walk with us. You deserve to live well and not just survive in your marriage. First, the danger of automatic. Marcos is 64 years old. He's worked his whole life, raised 2 children, held on through difficult times, and has been strong in his marriage for over 30 years. But I'll tell you something that he only realized after a long time. Love can die even when no one fights. And do you know how? In silence. In routine. Automatically. Marcos thought everything was fine. They lived together, had dinner together, slept together. But in reality, they seemed like 2 colleagues sharing the same roof. Good morning. Good morning. Are you going out today? I will later. And that was it. Short conversations. No laughter. No affection. No soul. One day, he was sitting on a bench in the square, drinking coffee, when he saw an elderly couple nearby. They must have been around 80 years old. Holding hands, laughing, exchanging glances, like 2 teenagers in love. That hit him hard. Marcos thought, why aren't my wife and I like that anymore? And that's when he understood. Love doesn't disappear all at once. It fades away when we stop taking care of it. That day, right there, he decided, I don't want to live on autopilot anymore. I want back what we had, even if I have to rebuild everything from scratch. Second, the power of the look. After that day in the square, Marcos arrived home a different person. He didn't say anything, but he kept watching his wife. She was there, preparing dinner, with that same old demeanor. But he noticed something he hadn't seen in a long time. She was also tired, and a little out of it. Maybe she was feeling lonely even with him around. Maybe she also missed the man he used to be. It was then that he remembered something simple. Back in the beginning, what made her heart beat faster was the way he looked at her. That look that says, you are beautiful. I am grateful to have you here. I still love you, even with all our ups and downs. And do you know what he did? That night, while she was putting the dishes on the table, he stopped. He looked into her eyes calmly, like he used to do in the old days. She was even embarrassed. She smiled slightly and asked, what's wrong? And he answered, nothing. I just wanted to look at you. And at that moment, she smiled for real. A smile he hadn't seen in a long time. Marcos understood that the look is one of the first signs of presence. When we stop looking, it's as if we're saying, I don't care about you anymore. But when we start looking again with affection, with admiration, even after years, the flame starts to rekindle. Third, the day he almost lost her. A few days after that look, Marcos arrived home and found his wife in the bedroom, sitting on the edge of the bed, crying softly. He approached her worried. Is everything okay? And she, with tears in her eyes, replied, I feel invisible in here. That hit him like a punch. Marcos understood that he wasn't the only one suffering in silence. She was too, and it was there, in that moment, that he promised himself, I'll never let her feel like that again. Fourth, compliments that touch. After Marcos looked into his wife's eyes again, something different began to happen. She walked more lightly. She smiled more. She took better care of herself. And he realized that that alone had made a difference. But he didn't want to stop there. He remembered that, at the beginning of their marriage, he was always complimenting her. You look beautiful in that dress. Your smile is the best part of my day. I was so lucky to marry you. But over time, he stopped. He thought he didn't need to say it anymore, that she already knew. But do you know what Marcos discovered? A woman may know that she is loved, but she needs to hear it, even more so after years. That week, he decided to test it. Did you know that your hair is still as beautiful as it was when we first met? She smiled in disbelief. Oh, stop it! But her smile didn't hide it. It touched her deeply. The next day, he complimented her again. And the day after that too. Simple but true. And the more he said it, the more she felt alive, valued, a woman. Complimenting is not flattering. It's reminding someone of their value, especially when they forget it themselves. Fifth, small gestures, big flames. After he started looking at her and complimenting her again, Marcos realized something curious. It wasn't the size of the things that made a difference. It was the intention. He didn't need to spend money or do anything fancy. Do you know what he did? One day, before going out for a walk, he left a little note on the table. I love you more today than yesterday. The other day, he woke up early and made her coffee. He put her favorite mug in and cut the fruit just the way she likes it. When she saw it, she stood still, without saying a word. She just looked at him with tears in her eyes. And she said, "It's been a while since anyone took care of me like that." That left a mark. Because right there, in that simple gesture, she understood that she was still special. 6. Touch and quality time. Over time, Marcos began to understand something else. It wasn't just what he said, but also what he did with his own hands. Touch. You know that touch that happened all the time when they first started dating? Holding hands, hugging from behind, caressing your face? Well, that was gone. Now it was just automatic touch. Pick up the key, change the channel, hold the cell phone. One day, he remembered how his wife loved it when he caressed her arm, ever so slightly, while she watched TV. That night, he leaned next to her on the couch and started doing it like he used to. Silence. Just affection. She didn't say anything, but he noticed she leaned closer to him slowly, as if to say, I missed this. The following week, they went for a walk, just the two of them. No cell phones. No rush. Just talking. He listened. She talked. They laughed. And there, in that simple time, their marriage breathed. 7th, presence with intention. After everything he had experienced, the looks, the compliments, the gestures, the touch, the time spent together, Marcos came to a conclusion that changed everything. What keeps love alive is not doing a lot, it's doing it with intention. Before, he did things just for the sake of it. He was together, but with his mind elsewhere. He talked to her, but he answered while looking at his cell phone. He told her he loved her, but without emotion, as if it were a habit. But now, everything had value. When he said, I love you, he said it looking into her eyes. When he kissed her on the forehead, it was with feeling, not out of habit. When he sat down to talk, it was to really listen, not just go through the motions. And that made all the difference. Because true presence has power. It heals wounds that time has opened. It rekindles what seemed to be extinguished. It brings back what was forgotten. One day, Marcos's wife said to him, You're different, and I'm feeling loved like I did in the beginning. And he replied, smiling, It's not that I'm different, it's that I'm back to being the man you knew. Marcos finally understood that love and maturity is not about living in memories. It's about deciding to love today with the same strength as yesterday. So my friend, if you've made it this far, let me tell you something from the bottom of my heart. Love doesn't end because time has passed. It only goes to sleep when we stop caring. And that's why you need to be careful. Because the danger isn't in separation, in shouting, or in fighting. The danger is in silence. In habit. In automaticity. That's where love escapes, without noise, without warning. But the good news is, you can rekindle that flame. There's still time. It doesn't matter if you've been married for 10, 20, or 40 years. What matters is what you're going to do from today on. Take the test. Today, look at the woman who is by your side, with affection calmly, and notice the change in her gaze. Maybe this is the first step to rekindling everything that never stopped existing. Because if there's still love, there's a new beginning.